I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm trying to do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Oh, yes, sir. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Can't be a real, might get you canceled. The whole system need to dismantle. Coppers treated like the utmost wanted. Trying to rule the block, but don't know what goes on. News got a story with a new take on me. Carrying out the window with the screw face on me. But I know that God love me when my burn. 95 degrees and I can't get sunburn. Wonder when your government will make me legal. Burn the whole city if I can't be equal. Get off my please, Brad, I earned that. 400 years, how you still ain't learned? I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm trying to do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Oh, yes, sir. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out.
Brother Dave and Priscilla G, are you ready? Brother, how are you doing tonight?
I'm ready. Yep, I'm ready. Sorry about that.
Yes, we're live. And Priscilla G, how are you doing tonight? Okay, she's muted. So we're gonna get right into it, man.
I'm here. I'm sorry. Listen, it was a struggle, but I'm here.
Okay.
My computer mic isn't working, so I'm on my phone.
Okay, no problem. So what we do is we all gonna chime in, but as Dave really gives his lecture, we're gonna mute ourselves, and I'm gonna put him solo because they really need to hear this and focus with no background noise. So
perfect.
Yeah, everybody in the chat room will greet you after everything is over. We want to get right back into this. So when this plays as a replay, we got right into it. Brother Dave, that was a phenomenal show. The other night, we had so many people in, and I'm quite sure the feedback was great. It's always an honor to have you here. This is your home. You are no guest, your family. And everybody knows what we look like. We need to amp it up a little bit and show you even so. All right. Now, it's a different topic, but it falls in line with what we spoke about the other night about preparing, for now and for later. And it's never too late. And if we feel any fear, I just want to say that's a call to action. I said that on a short stream this morning, that there should be no fear, just should be action, because everything will be all right as much as it can when you do the right thing. Brother Dave, mute myself, and I want you to talk to us. The chat room's filling up, and as the word gets around, I'm going to be spreading this out and posting it all over the place. There'll be more and more people coming in. So, hey, hit us with it, brother. Thank you. And you're looking well. You're looking very well. You're looking healthy, looking strong. And this is the man with the knowledge right here. They can see. They were saying, well, what does he look like? I said, go into some of the old shows, you'll see it. But here, you see him live and in living color.
Right.
The floor is yours, my brother. Talk to us. Much love.
Man, first and foremost, thank you, Lance. Empress is definitely good to have you here. I get to actually conversate with you as well. And I will say on today's show, I would, if you guys want to chime in, and I would definitely suggest that you do, because I think it's always good for us to have, dialogues about different things. But it's my honor to be here as usual. As Lance said, this is, Lance is a brother to me. Empress is now going to be a true sister to me. And I'm looking forward to it. And we're going to do the very best that we can. We're going to do My thing is that I very rarely do I worry about what happens to me, because I control my response to everything. And that's where the power is. That's where your likeness of the great creator starts. What is it that you create? Because, you know, we hear that we're in the likeness and the image of the great creator. And I think that we take that from what we've been taught, and we think we're in the likeness and the image, and we think something very carnal right away, something with our eyes. But in the likeness and the image means that you are spiritual, and you create spiritual, a spiritual environment that continues to do what? Appropriate life and give it abundantly, and to pass on prosperity. That's the likeness and the image of the great creator. And so that is essential, because we always have to remember who we are by the way that we execute our will, our free will, because that is a real determination of our overall eternal journey. Not this, what we look like now, how we physically feel now. Those are the temporal things of the emotion of the experience. So for me, it's definitely a continuous honor, and we're always going to do the best that we can. Actually coming to you live right now in Dallas, Texas, in the office. So we will be here as long as we need to be here. I may need to take a 5-minute break, if that's going to be okay, Lance and Empress. That would be.
That's no problem. If we can entertain you, come.
Yes.
You take as long as you need to. Anytime.
Cool. Good evening, Brother Dave. Good evening. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Yes. Good evening, sis. And I want to just say, I love the energy, and I love the way you and Lance resonate in the show, and it's just, you know, it's refreshing.
Thank you.
And, you know, our platforms should be sacred to us, because I will tell you, those that have a malevolent agenda, they understand the importance of platforms, and the media is their sanctuary. The media is their sanctuary. And I won't do a lot of things. I've been asked to be on RT Today, Russia Today, a while ago. I refuse to do it. I won't do that, because the camera and media is the best way to put it is spiking your drink.
Yeah.
This system likes to, you know, give you certain things that will spike you, spike your drink, so that you're inebriated, you're in a drunken stupor, you're not really of a cognate strong mind, so that you don't make the right determining or really cognate strong spirit, so that you'll be led by fame, and you'll be led by carnal things that will get you trapped. And once they got you trapped, here comes the blackmail, the extortion, and everything else. And they will build you, because they feel that they build you. Now they actually own you. And they're going to find out all the worst things about you, all your temptations, all of your evil temptations, and they're going to tempt you with many evil things. And whatever your overall hook is, they're going to feed that to you continuously. And we've seen that throughout with a lot of celebrities, high-profile individuals. They turn I'll give you an example, regardless of what people think. Bill Cosby was considered a community giant. Well, sometimes, you know, when you don't do something that they want you to do, then all of the things that they've gathered against you, they start to use against you. And so I'm not saying one way or other about that situation, but that's the overall thing that we have to be careful of. This is why you have to build it, Well, first you have to work for it, then you have to build it, then you have to protect it. And I think that's very important in our community, is that we have to be careful. If we're not going to build something that we can't protect, don't build it.
That's right. That's true. That's true.
Don't build it.
Good point.
But I really wanted to get into just trying to help everyone out. And I will tell you, I have many clients, but very few of my clients are from our tribe. And I'm disheartened by that. At every event that I do, every private speaking engagement that I do, every conference that I have, is that very few of our clients are from our tribe. And
that's something.
It's disturbing. It's really disturbing. And I understand why. But it's a matter of, can it be changed? Yes, it can, and yes, it should be changed. And it has to start with us. And so my part of that is to do my part. And I want to just teach the proper things about the precious metals, how to acquire, how to prepare, not only just with precious metals, but in general, especially in today's climate, for that. And so that's my overall thing. I don't do other things. All the other things that I do that I'm not spiritually connected to, I fail miserably at them. And I fail miserably because I was trying to do something that I really wasn't spiritually attached to. And that brings about a real form of misery, especially for me. So this is my purpose. This is what I committed to. It's not my calling. I say it's not my calling because I made it my overall charge. I made it my charge. From the great creator likeness in me, this is what I wanted to build. And this is what I wanted to give my energy to. So it's really important to me. So I definitely want to get our community, as much as we possibly can, get our community in a position of advantage, even if it's just as many as we possibly can. And I live by this rule. Before I bring on new people, I have to take on the ones that I already have. And I have to now start to really start to branch out into our community, because it's essential for us to get back to our birthright. And if we do that, we will be doing a whole lot better. We will control things and not own them. We will actually have prosperity, that where we can leave an inheritance for, you won't need life insurance. You are the insurance. You have more than enough that you're able to pass that on down, so that the momentum of what you build continues to grow. And for me, that's my legacy that I'll be leaving. And I hope that many in our communities will do that, because we got to look at what has been the overall agenda of where we are right now. And that is to leave nothing but debt, to leave nothing of value, to actually leave consumer items, consumer things that are not, a form of money, and it's not going to sustain life. So if we start seeding those things, then we will never be in a position of famine again, because that's really a position that we're in as a collective people. We're in a state of famine. So I just want to assist. So what I wanted to do, and before we do that, I wanted to say, everyone that emailed us, I will definitely get back to you all and answer each and every email. We've been kind of busy here because of what's going on in the world, scrambling, moving our overall assets around and just protecting them. But I will definitely answer each and every one. Just wanted you all to know that. So Lance and Empress, I don't know if it's somewhere you wanted to start with, or are there some questions that you may have had? You know, definitely please jump in and ready to do that.
Yeah, don't worry about that. I know that's your phone ringing. No, I'm good, brother. I'm good because you're very thorough on what you do, and say I'll save my questions if anything for the end.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna mute myself and focus totally on what you have to say since the energy is fresh and we just started.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Cool. Definitely.
Just mute. Okay.
So we all kind of know where we are. I'll just give a quick current event synopsis for today, because you know, each day is kind of changing. So one of the things that caught my eyes today was that where I thought it was very important as to benchmarks. And what I look at is I look at benchmarks that happen that give me an idea of what the next set of events could happen. And a major benchmark today was that earlier this morning, I think it was the French Minister of Finance said that, well, let me read it. Let me see if I could pull it up real quickly.
Yeah, take your time, brother. We're all here. We're all ears.
February 23rd. Let me read this to you real quickly. One sec. Get this tweet that's here. Okay, so go to Twitter real quick. Okay, so earlier today, I think the French Minister of Finance said that they were going to be engaging in a financial war against Russia. And I will tell you, in my opinion, this is all set up for what the real objective is. I don't think that that Russia has a real objective of the Ukraine. The real objective is to nullify the United States and the Western financial system and the Western military stranglehold that it has on the world. Basically, to neutralize the colonizing of nation states by military. So today there was the French minister said that France was going to, with the sanctions, that they were going to engage in a financial war against Russia and make it very difficult for Russia itself. And the real thing is that what they really want to do is they want to attack the people, make the people poor, so that they can have, and they basically say this, if you really just listen to them, so that they can have a coup inside of the country to go on, because then they could come in and provide the overall assistance and so-called, then they'll put their own puppet leader in. So Dmitry Medvedev, and I don't know if you know who Dmitry Medvedev is that he is the former president of Russia. He was the president before Putin. He was actually Putin's vice president. Putin was his vice president. He and Putin are pretty close. They've been through a lot of this stuff together for years now, for decades now. And so Dmitry Medvedev, this was his response. He said, quote, "Today, some French minister has said that they will declare an economic war on Russia." And I'm getting this from Twitter. Just so you can see it, it's right here on Twitter. Right there on Twitter. Says, declare an economic war on Russia. He says, watch your tongue, gentlemen, and don't forget that in human history, economic wars quite often turn into real ones. What did Dmitry Medvedev just say? Dmitry Medvedev, reading between the lines, is basically saying, now you are voicing and you are making known what your agenda is. That's what we needed. Now you're going to get exactly what you want to get. And the reason why they are so confident in the things that they're doing is because they have a trump card. Like I said, I do not believe and I do not think that Ukraine is the objective. The actual objective is what I said earlier, is to nullify the overall dollar hegemony and the overall colonizing use of military by the US and Western thinking and Western policies around the world. So how do you do that? Well, they took the opportunity from what was happening to them by NATO encircling Russia that gave them plausible deniability now to start to engage in activities that are going to be symmetrical and asymmetrical. And what that basically means is that they are going to be overt, and then they're also going to do asymmetrical things that are not customarily thought of or followed, or routine practices. They're not going to follow the script. So now, what I really do think is that right now, Russia actually wanted their economy, their central bank and their economy to be sanctioned by all of the world. Right now is that they're real boisterous and boastful about this whole situation, and never even given a second thought to the same things that they're accusing Russia of, is that they've been doing for about 75 years, 80 years, and it's okay when they do it. And so that's the overall agenda. And so that they're used to always having so-called a position of advantage. So now they're about to get caught sleeping, because what Russia, as I said in the last, Russia has developed hypersonic missiles that none of them have. And so there is no mutual assured destruction that's there. It's only your destruction, because Russia is able to do things that the other countries can't do technically with nuclear weapons. And so they're going to use them. And I think before they use them, I think what's going to happen because of this with France, they said they're going to declare an economic war against Russia. I think the next set of events that you're going to see is you're going to see some interference. And Russia said that any country that interferes in their military operations in the Ukraine is going to put themselves in a position that they wish they never had put themselves in. And that just means basically war with Russia. And war with Russia means that they can nuke you with tactical nukes that won't destroy your country, but will get the point across and make you surrender. So I definitely see, and I've already started to see a lot of cyber attacks that's going on around the world. You can start to see probably some of them here if you recognize them. If you start noticing your GPS is always going out, and things of that nature, they may seem small, but actually they're a part of what's about to happen. I definitely see that Russia will probably cut off the natural gas and the oil to Europe, who basically all of Europe is either 40 to 80% dependent on them for their overall natural resource of gas and oil. And when they cut them off,
yeah, take your time, brother.
And when they cut them off, their economies, just like they just destroyed the Russian economy, the stock market was closed yesterday, was closed today, probably will be closed tomorrow. The ruble has lost all of its purchasing power. 1 ruble, which is like, let's just say like $1 US, 1 Russian ruble has the purchasing power of 1 American penny. So that's going to cause a lot of pain financially for the everyday citizens of Russia. So now that they've done that, they've allowed them to do that. They didn't stop them. Since they did that, what's probably going to happen now, that is an act of war. And now what they're going to do is they're going to say, okay, so you want to cut us off from being able to feed our country and being able to have economic vitality. So what we will do is this: we will cut off our oil and natural gas to you because you haven't paid for it. See the key word there? You haven't paid for it, so you don't get it. And then when they do that, they're going to cause the economy in Europe to totally fall apart almost instantly. And when it falls apart almost instantly there, just like they're trying to do to Russia, they will have the same overall economic chaotic upheaval of their financial system that Russia is having, but even more. Then they'll probably hit them with a cyber attack. And after they hit them with a cyber attack, they'll take out their satellites. And the cyber attack is very important because of this. When Russia hits them with a cyber attack in Europe and in the US, the cyber attack could be so effective that they won't be able to engage or arm their nuclear weapons. Think about that for a minute.
Wow.
Think about that for a minute. The cyber space is in the Europe and the United States is so independent upon the digital system that they probably will be able to nullify a significant number of and get access and breach into the overall military network intranet that is supposed to be away from ours, be able to hack into them and not even allow them to even respond with nuclear weapons or even arm their nuclear weapons. There was a while ago, there was a 6-year-old kid, I believe it was, that hacked into the Pentagon and got deep into their overall. Yes, the 6-year-old kid was a genius, but here's the thing. How was that system so vulnerable? Who left the door open? That means that back doors have already been put in, and they've already been in the system for so long. And so they can interfere with the messaging systems to be able to, one, give orders to, and to arm the nukes. And I will tell you, all it takes for 1 or 2 strategical nuclear strikes here in Europe and in the United States, and guess what? If you haven't got your nukes off, they're worthless now. They're worthless now. So, but will the U.S. be able to, and NATO be able to respond? Yes, they probably will be able to respond, but then they run a risk of those overall. Believe me, if a country can develop a hypersonic glide missile, they probably have an advanced capability to take out your non-glide hypersonic ballistic missiles. So they'll just shoot them down. They'll just shoot them down. So do I think that that's where we are? Absolutely. Absolutely. So let me do this. Lance and Empress, can you give me like 5 minutes?
Take 10 if you need to, brother. We're not going nowhere. We're
Sure.
right here. Long haul.
No, just give me 5 minutes.
Yeah, go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Yeah, we'll take a little. Yes, so much for people thinking that's a green screen. You can see him walk right out like that, right? But yeah, that's frightening, but it's a reality.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why there's so many distractions as they are. And it is very frightening.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you know, on the other hand, like I said, if they can knock out any retaliation from us, they don't expect it. So they're not going to do as much as they would if we were shooting back at them. But who would have thought that in this day and age that we'd be having this conversation? You know what I mean?
I know.
You know?
But who would have thought that at this junction that they would still leave themselves vulnerable? I mean, okay, like he just said, that 6-year-old can get in. I mean, okay, he may be considered a genius, but why are your things so lax that a child, can get into it?
Yeah.
I mean, there should be so many so many, what do you call it, back doors, and the door beyond the back door, and the door there should be so many layers of protection,
Yeah.
on things that are so sensitive. There's no reason. That makes absolutely no sense to me. And it's sort of like, we were talking for a little bit yesterday, and I was saying that it's hard to imagine that a country like this, with the military might and power, that they would actually be sitting on their hands and while Russia is developing a hyperglide missile.
They're not going to tell you this stuff. We've been made to believe that they're like the greatest and the most powerful in the movies, and they go off into the sunset. But really, is it that way? I mean, I've been telling people for the longest time that it's a big world out here, and America is not even on the top 10 places to live anymore as far as quality of life.
No, it's not. Mm-hmm.
And the greed that's there, the military greed, and these politicians and Cheney, and they have war is money for them. So, I mean, they led us to believe that, but they're stripping everything away, and the CEOs are stepping down, and the politicians have their bunkers. They're set. They're set. They don't care about us.
Yeah.
It shouldn't even be. I think so. They make us believe, the American people, we care. No, we're going to foot the bill, and we're going to be on the front line, whether we like it or not. And just like things happen over the years that we've seen on other lands, and we kick back with our remote control and watch the news and watch people bombed and kids with their arms blown off and their legs blown off and bloody and crying. And again, when I talk like this, it's not like I want anything to happen to America.
Right.
But I've always been one from a long time ago, whether it was in school and arguing with teachers and different things, that, hey, wait a second. I talked to people from other countries even before the internet was in place. And America has a lot of blood on their hands. I mean, you go down back in the early 80s before we were using the internet like that. And I would go and look at different newspapers that were written in English from other countries. A couple of men from the Middle East that used to have the newsstands down there, and I would go down there for my boxing, stuff, to bodybuilding magazines, and I would talk with them. I'd stand out there in Times Square and talk to them and say, "Man, what is life really like?" You want to get it from the horse's mouth, and you find not even just from listening to Minister Farrakhan or whatever, but from so many other sources that there's a lot of blood on the hands of the American people. Sorry about that, American people, about the American government and the powers that. And it comes back on us, and it's going to come back on us. See what I mean? So it comes back again, and we're back to muting myself. Here you go, brother.
Oh, he's back. Okay.
Yeah, he's back. Yeah, that was quick.
Okay, sorry about that. Thank you. Had to take care of something for us here.
Good.
Okay, so with that being said, was talking about that cyber attack is pretty extensive. That's really today's warfare. It's not like our old, our grandparents and great grandparents' warfare. The actual war space is actually digitized now, and it's immediate, because now you don't have the overall collateral damage of infrastructure when you're going to take over a country. All of this infrastructure is there for you to prosper off of as well, and it's much cheaper, because remember, how it works is that whenever a country goes to war with another country, the winning country has to provide economic rehabilitation to that country. So very important. This is why I always thought it was so important for our community to establish its own community, and then actually declare war against the United States and have a peace treaty. Now they are obligated under international law to reestablish you financially. It's one of the things that we really should have done. And then you could have still stayed within the, this is how many Indian tribes are able to have the sovereignty that they have because of the peace treaty. That's one of the tactics that we should have had employed in developing once 40 acres in the mule, which that promise was never going to be met. Then that should have been a state where we should have got together and then declare war on the U.S. for all of those human rights violations and the constant attacks. So then now, if you lose the war, guess what? They're obligated. So that's neither here nor there. So in today's world, the cyberspace is much more effective, much more efficient. It is the most important part of fighting a war in today's world is to be able to electronically neutralize your overall opponent and then electronically attack them. And by doing that, just think about it. There's one practice I want you to do tonight, just to give you a real ideal of it. One of the things that a cyber attack can do is can cause for a blackout. I would say the best thing that everyone here listening can do tonight, just to see where you really are, and see how it really feels, is go home tonight, cut your lights out. Cut your lights out, and immediately you'll start to see how real that situation is, and then you will start to see that, oh shoot, I'm not as ready for stuff as I thought I am. When your lights go out, do you know where everything is that you put down? Do you know where all of your preps are? Do you know where this is? Do you know where that is? And what will happen is that we've all been schooled to be scared of the dark, right? And it's no different than anything else. It's psychological, right? But if you already prepared for that and you start to, position yourself to be able to work in the dark, guess what will happen? No big deal. You know where all your furniture is in your house, where everything is in this place or in your apartment. You know how to get to all the essential things, so then you don't have to start worrying about, oh my goodness, what's going on. And that's one thing, when the lights totally go out, what happens is this: it becomes space dark. And space dark is a different dark. You can't see anything. So I definitely highly suggest everybody do that little test with you and your family. One, it does this, especially if you have children. It will help them because it's kind of traumatic when the lights just go out on you. I remember what actually started me to get prepared when I was in New York City as a child in the summer of '77. And Lance remembers this, when the blackout happened. And Empress, you may remember this.
What? Of course. Yes.
You remember when the lights went out? I mean, it was just all of a sudden, boom. And then as a child, it was cool for a second. Then it was like, oh shoot. It was traumatic. And so I want everyone to be able to be prepared for that type of situation to happen, because and some of us around the country are definitely going to see that. Especially if this goes into a full-blown war between these nations. Oh, you're going to have blackouts. And we're still in the middle of winter. And God forbid that you have a blackout during winter, and you don't have the overall means to heat yourself and your family. That could be a very, very traumatic and a difficult situation. It's stressful. So there's a lot of do's and don'ts. So I do think that is the scenario, and I would rather prepare for that, because in preparing, here's a great thing about preparing. If you don't have to use what you acquired in preparation for whatever you thought you were going to use it for, a hurricane, a war, a currency collapse. Generally, the stuff that you acquire to prepare is something that you essentially need anyhow. Something that you essentially need anyhow. So preparing early is actually cheap, but most of us, we wait until the collapse happened, and we find ourselves in a line with a million other people trying to get the last carton of milk, or the last bit of fruits and vegetables, or the last water, or cases of water. And that's not a good feeling when you have children. Every father that's listening to me, if you want your family in the position of Katrina, remember when Kanye said, George Bush don't care about black people? Remember when Kanye West said that? And then he said, please call, right? You remember that? Well, we have to care about Black people. We have to, right? We can't expect, and we can't continue to want the affection of someone that never has had an affinity for you at all. Why do we do that? You know, why would we try to get someone that does not have our best interest? Why do we try to become friends with them? Why do we try to push a moral compass on them, saying that you have to like me, you have to do this? No, the main thing is that we should have that, no, you're going to respect me, right? And respect comes from a position of what? Sovereignty, self-sustainingness. And so if we already know that the government doesn't like our people, then it should be incumbent upon us to do what? Take care of ourselves and our people and our community, instead of waiting for somebody else to do it, because we're going to wait forever. Because you think about it, we've been in this country for a while. There is no marching that is going to get us where we need to be. If marching was the key to this whole thing, then we would have walked all over our enemy. If speeches was going to be the key to getting us where we need to be, we would have talked our enemy to death, right? And if voting was going to be the key to get us where we needed to be, we would already have a whole continent of our own from the overall voting will of the voters that would have been enacted. None of that stuff gets you anything. None of that stuff changed your overall and changed our community's position. The thing that changes our community position is our energy output and our overall commitment to the community. First, the community of yourself, your family, and then the overall extenuating community at large, right? We have to have a different thought process. We can't use the same consciousness that created the problem, because that is only going to perpetuate it. It's not going to solve it. We have to think anew. We have to think anew. So my thing is that we need to get prepared for this, because this is going to be a great opportunity. Wars throughout history, wars have made certain families, corporations, institutions exceedingly wealthy. Why should we not have that same opportunity and take that same opportunity that's going to be presented? The only way that you can seize on that opportunity is if you're prepared. All of those individual families, all of those individuals, institutions, and all of those individual countries, when they seized on the opportunity of war, is because they had prepared for the war when there were peace talks. They prepared for it when it was nowhere in sight of happening, because then it becomes cheaper to acquire the necessary assets that's going to get you there. If you're in Russia right now, how much you think it will cost you to get an ounce of gold or an ounce of silver? If your ruble is only 1 penny, has the purchasing power of 1 penny in US currency, right? A month ago, 2 months ago, a year ago, you would have been able to acquire that underlying asset at what? Something that you probably could do. I guarantee you, if you're in that country right now, and anybody that has those things, they're not going to sell it to you if you're just going to give them rubles. They're not going to exchange money for a currency, right? They're not going to do it. They're going to say, you got to give me something of value. That's the whole key. And that's what the key thing about preparing is that you value yourself and you start to acquire the things that will allow you to seize on the opportunity, especially the value opportunities that will make themselves apparent. And where's that going to come from? It's going to come from here. I talked about regentrification the last time that we talked. And so there are many communities that have been bought out by others, and they started to build on it. And as I said, the key was that they tricked everybody to say that the house was the asset, and it's not. It's the land. So they said, hey, we want to buy your house. And if they buy your house, they know that there's a overall price tag for that house. But if you know the value of the land that the house is sitting on, they won't be able to buy the land for you without paying you full fair market value. Totally different. So now a lot of that has happened, but the individuals that have purchased those communities and developed them to where they are right now, I guarantee you this, they're not prepared for the cyber attack, for when Russia makes its moves and collapse the European economy, which will collapse the United States economy. They're not prepared for that. And since they're not prepared for that, what is that going to take? What is that going to do for those individuals that have been preparing? It's going to give them the striking opportunity to get an asset for pennies on the dollar at a fire sale. This whole country's infrastructure is going to be up on a fire sale. And if you prepare now, it would have been better if we prepared before, but hey, that was in. But we're going to prepare from where we are. That's where you always start in preparation. You prepare from where you are. You don't look at how much you don't have. You look at what you can use to get to what you're going to need. Right? So there's going to be so much in this country that's going to go on fire sale. Buildings, commercial real estate. Real estate, there's no way in the world I would be buying a home in today's market. It's super inflated. It's so high, it's not going to go any higher. The only place it can go is lower. Wait till it goes to its real intrinsic market value, not where the inflated market value is. Just before this was happening last year, people were bidding on homes, and some people were, if there were 3 bidders, 1 or 2 bidders would go to, or one bidder would go to another bidder and say, hey, I'll give you $100,000 if you stop bidding on this property. What does that tell you? That tells you that your overall housing or commercial real estate market is in the biggest bubble has ever been in history. That's where we are now, right? So you let all of those other people, you let them buy high. Now everything collapses. They can't make that high payment that went along with them getting it at that low interest rate. They're about to raise interest rates, and when they do, what's that going to do to everybody's bill? It's going to make it go up so much more, and they're not going to be able to afford it. Now you're going to have so many homes and so much commercial real estate on the market from COVID shutdown and just this situation, that people aren't going to be able to make their overall payments, and they're going to try to do what? Sell out of position. And when they sell out of position, if there's 25 people in that same condition, in that same environment, and they all need to sell, what are they going to sell that asset for? They're going to compete against each other. Are they going to compete against each other at the top? Or are they going to compete against each other and say, hey, I'll give you a better deal? That's just the way supply and demand and how the manipulation of the economy works. You never buy something that's going up. You don't do that. You buy something that the market is not recognizing its overall value, or it is suppressing the value. That's the one you want to look at, is whatever the market is suppressing the value of, that's the one you should be buying, because they're suppressing it so that they can acquire it lower and get more of it, and then they're going to let it go, and it's going to go to its true market value, and they're going to ride it to the top, and then they're going to sell it there. You're going to sell it there. So that's why prepping is essential. Everyone, I would tell you, go to this website. And prepping, it's really important. I want you to type this into your browser. You want to go to the 100 things you wish you had stored. 100 things you wish you had stored. And then it's going to be a blog that should be, I'm gonna put it in. I don't want to mess up anything. I don't want to touch anything. It's going to be prepared for an emergency.blogspot.com. And it's 100 things that you prepare for emergency.blogspot.com. The 100 things that you wish you had stored. Now, when you go to that, we'll give you a couple of things. When you go to that list, okay, you're going to see four categories. I don't agree with these 4 categories. There's actually 5 categories. It's going to say how to prepare. It's going to say from March of 2008. It's going to say water, food, shelter, and protection. Yes, that is, but that's not the full table of preparedness. There's one thing that they missed here that's very important. It actually should be full of water, food, shelter, protection, and energy. Energy. Energy is crucial for what? For life. No energy, no life. Energy is very important, and that's one that always gets left out. So this is a good guide for some of the things that you should acquire while you can. Here's the problem with this, and this is just the God's honest truth. Most of these things you're going to find that they're already out of stock, very difficult to acquire, or they're super expensive to acquire now. So that's just where we are right now. If we had prepared 5 years ago, everything on this list would have been readily available at an entry level that would be more accommodating to our overall spending habits. So what does that mean? Everybody, you're going to have to stop. You're going to have to reallocate your funds now. There's no way in the world I would right now be spending on a vacation to go somewhere in the world. Nope, not necessary, not essential. That party is over for a while. You need to look at where we really are. Right now, if we are in a crunch for resources to withstand this overall giant nuclear hurricane that we're going to have to face. And the thing about it is this: if you don't prepare for this type of stuff, you have the chance of losing everything. If you do prepare and it doesn't happen, you still could use everything that you acquired in preparation. And not only that, it would be at a better inflationary entry level than what's going to happen later. Do you guys think that the price of food is going to go up from today to tomorrow? Well, it's not going to go up at all. It's actually the price of food is not going up. What is actually happening is the purchasing power of your dollar is going down. So it takes more dollars for you to acquire milk, to acquire chicken. Chicken and milk is still the same. It's the same chicken, milk, and gasoline. It's just that you need to have more cash to get it. They don't want you to know that. They say that the price of it is going up, but if they told you the real truth, that the purchasing power of that currency is going down, what's the first thing that you would start doing? You would limit your exposure to a debt instrument that can go to zero. And what does that mean? You would start having real money. If you start having real money, what do? You acquire enough money to where you become wealthy and you don't need their system. When they have their overall jobs and their their rate of pay for you, you won't have to respond. You won't have to apply to that. They don't, their overall, you don't have a watch to tell you where to be, what time, how long to be there and things of that nature, right? Because you're sovereign. You're able to take care of yourself. Okay? You don't need the economy. The economy needs you. But when we're debt slaves, then the economy tells us where to be, how long to be there, under what rate of pay, and what the terms and conditions are. And if you don't fulfill that, or they don't want you anymore, I will tell you this: everyone that has a job right now, no, I don't care how good your job is. Let me just tell you this: your job is going to either retire you or fire you. Either way, they're getting rid of you. And they're going to get rid of you because of this. Once they use up all of your ideal energy for their profitability, you're no longer able to provide for them with the way that they they want you to provide for them, they're going to retire you. You know what retire really means? Put out to pasture to die. That's what it really means. So if you acquire real wealth, what happens is that all the energy that you have is being used to further your family wealth, to further your agenda, to further your aspirations. And you know what happens when you have real money? The economy accommodates you. My friend told me this. My friend Mike Roberts, he's a billionaire, told me this. He said, David, wealth whispers while poverty screams. Wealth whispers while poverty screams. The whispering of wealth is this: when you control resources, you tell the economy what to do. You don't raise your voice. You just say, hey, I want this project done. And guess what? They take from the general public to build that overall project and let you profit off of it. They take the privatized funds of the general the public funds, such as taxes from the public, and they privatize it and give it to you so that you can continue to carry on your family's wealth. Do it all the time. It's called American sports. They build them billion-dollar arenas off taxpayers' money, and those overall owners and controllers of that overall resource never send the general public a check for what they built. But what they will do them is they'll give them a job and pay them an instrument that has no value at all called the dollar bill. That's the real game. But I digress from that. We really want to talk about get prepared. So this one list, I have a personal list, and my personal list has about 300 things on there. And I've checked everything off of that list for myself. But where are we now? You need to go through this, and I will tell you, water is extremely important. Water purification is the most important thing. Okay. Sorry, y'all, my phone rings 24/7.
We know that. We understand, brother. No problem.
Water purification is the most important thing. I will tell you, you all should be going to your local. You could go to Walmart. They have some very cost-efficient ways to purify water, and very effective ways. That's right under our noses. Okay, go there, pick up some of those things that are there. Very important. Water purification is essential. And one of the most essential ones, one of the most the resourceful ones, with the lowest entry point, is you're gonna right now, hopefully where you are, that in the pool area of like Walmart, or maybe even some of the other major Walmart, Lowe's, things of that nature. Not Home Depot even will have it. You can go there, and you want to go to the pool area. Some of that inventory has been taken off of the shelves for the winter. But as soon as it comes back, this is what you need to get. There's something called HTH Pool Shop. HTH Pool Shop is basically used for your pool, to add the chlorine to your pool. You want to go and grab that, but you have to read the ingredients. You have to get the one that is calcium based, not sodium based. You read the back look for the Pool Shock, and it's HTH Pool Shock, and it says you have to read to make sure that it has the overall calcium and not sodium, because if you use that sodium, you can definitely affect your kidneys to where they shut down. Okay, so you get that, go pick that up. One bag, I know when I was acquiring it was like $3. They're probably about $6 now. One bag, one pound bag It's about $6, and that will purify over 80,000 gallons of water. It's about being efficient. So you grab that, keep it in a ventilated area, because those fumes can harm you. The fumes are real strong in that. Keep it in a ventilated area away from the family and everything else. And how you would use that is that if, God forbid, we have a cyber attack, and if the power goes out, that means the purification of water is gone. You have to identify water sources, and in this world, it's critical. Eating and drinking water is essential, but the essential part of eating and drinking water is going to be this: are you eating clean water and eating clean food and drinking clean water? Because the last thing you want to do in a societal grid down situation is you don't want to get sick. You definitely don't want to get, cholera, because that is a painful way to go out. And what most people don't know, this is why silver is more valuable than gold. Silver is 10 times more valuable than gold, because silver can purify water. So some people say you can't eat or you can't eat or drink silver and gold. Well, that individual doesn't know what they're talking about. The real thing is this, is that you can't drink water safely without silver. So you want to purify water. Finding water is easier than purifying water if you don't have the overall necessary things. And you all should start looking up how to purify water. You can use sand, rock, gravel, charcoal, and make your own gravity-fed filtration system. All of that is there. Go to the University of YouTube, figure that stuff out right there, and it shows you. You could take one bottle like this, turn it upside down, have charcoal at the bottom, sand, rock, and then larger rocks there, run water through it, and have it drip out from here. Now you have a gravity-fed filtration system. Now you can drink water safely. Last thing I know, in Haiti, when they had their earthquake, whenever you have these grid down situations, diseases and viruses just go amok. And clean potable water is the most important thing. If you have a way to purify your water, you got half the battle done. Half the battle done. And so what happened was, what they did was, down in Haiti, is that they sent down ceramic impregnated silver filters. So the ceramic had silver inside of it, send it down to Haiti. And what happened is that you could run that water that was just puddling, a pig could have walked through it, people could have walked through it. You could have had bio waste fall into it. And what happens is you could take the overall water that's just pooling in the gutters, run it through that silver impregnated ceramic filter, and it will purify that water to where it's now potable, clean drinking water. Cholera left Haiti. When we have this situation here in the States, we have a great opportunity for the overall water system and the power to go down to where the overall water becomes unpotable, meaning that you are going to have to treat it. And, treating water can be extremely expensive. They have water filters that's up to $700, $800, $900, but if you know how to do it organically, you'll be able to continue to, filtrate water, purify water, so that it's good for you. And one of the things that I would definitely suggest that you do is that if you do have a gravity-fed water, I suggest that you acquire some rocks, clean them now, so that and then put them in the actual reserve portion of your gravity-fed. So what I mean by that is that, so this would be the overall, here's a bottle of water. You cut a hole here, fill this up with the overall filtration system, have this much water, or it could be more, and have this go down into another bottle as a reserve. And at the bottom here at this reserve, you should be putting mineralized rocks down there, shungite, but it's hard to get good shungite, comes out of Russia. They're going to ban everything from Russia pretty soon, so it's going to be kind of hard to find shungite. And then you put a silver coin or a silver round at the bottom of that. One, it will give your water much better taste, and it will purify that water completely, and it will remineralize the water. Dead water does not give your body the overall nutrients that it needs to do what water is supposed to do in your body. So you don't want to be drinking dead water. So on that list, go through that. Start to acquire food for your family. I don't know, you know, every person is different, and it really depends on where you are in the country. Every situation is different. You got to look at your situation. You have to acquire the necessary resources that you're going to need. And I would say, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to just tell you the truth. You're going to need to look at getting about 3 months worth of goods for yourself and your family. About 3 months is a good start. Okay. So you want to get food, water, shelter, protection, and energy. Energy. What is energy? The one that they always forget. I would try to find, which is going to be difficult to do now in today's COVID supply chain situation, excuse that they use. It's really that countries aren't selling goods to the U.S. because they're not accepting U.S. dollars. Solar. Find some solar energy or make your own solar. Make a solar stove. Make a solar oven, excuse me. It's not hard to do. You can do that with Mylar bags, some black paint, and a box. Black paint in a box. Okay? So you want to make a solar oven. You want to acquire food for your family. And I would say the food that you acquire, make sure it's the food that you generally eat. Don't all of a sudden start eating some stuff that you don't eat, because last thing you need to do is to get sick. Now, if you have a strict diet of something, like if you're just new to maybe, well, that won't last anyhow. I was about to say, if you just started to become a vegetarian and you're not going to eat meat, that won't last long in this one. You'll change up there, which is okay, up to you. But for those with specific diets, you're going to have to try to maximize your overall dietary needs in a system that is not going to be providing it so easily. You know, when we have a specific diet, then in today's world and what we're accustomed to, you could just go to the store and get it. But when the cyber attack happens and this war kicks off, the first thing that's going to happen is the just-in-time delivery system is going to fail. It's going to be hacked. It's going to be knocked out. They're not going to be delivering gas, food on a regular basis that you can count on. So you need to provide for yourself. You need to have a true storehouse, and you better be able to protect it. Remember what I said? Don't build anything that you can't protect. Don't build anything that you can't protect. And Lance, you know what's so funny?
Yes.
You know what's so funny? We did a couple of shows about how they were attacking people's right to bear arms. Remember some of those shows we did in the past?
Yes.
Where they're trying to make it more and more difficult for people to acquire firearms and things of that nature. I say, hey, that's cool. You know, if that's who you are, that's great. But I will tell you this. If any of you ever needed a dentist, you ever had the pain, a toothache, and you needed a dentist, you would have done anything in the world to get to that dentist. Well, the same thing happens when you need a gun. Whenever you need a gun to protect you and your family and you don't have one, you're going to wish that you had. And generally people call people with guns to come protect them. We got to be self-reliant and be able to protect ourselves. And it's so funny. This country is now trying to tell people, oh, you don't need guns and this and that. But it's crazy. They talk about gun control. But these numbnuts, want to send your child with a gun into a war zone. See, they only want you to use what they want you to use that's going to benefit them. So I will tell you this, and it's very difficult to do now because the spot. If you haven't acquired means to protect yourself, whatever that may be, hey, you may not like having guns. That's a personal choice by you. But I will tell you this from my own experience. Anytime that a gun was necessary and the person that had it was glad and the other person that didn't have it was hiding behind them. Just food for thought. If you can acquire, and it's an effective tool, train with it, learn how to use it, learn the proper way of employing it. If you can acquire a firearm in this country, it would behoove you to do it, because this country has more firearms than all of the militaries combined together. Just in the United States. When Obama was president, the first 3 years of his administration, there were more guns sold legally in this country than all of the military personnel put together combined 3 times over in the world. So protection yourself is very important. It is a good tool, an effective tool to do it. There's a lot of things that go along with it. You definitely have to know how to use it and safely use it. And then the thing about getting ammunition, acquiring ammunition is almost virtually, it's real difficult. It's expensive and availability is not there, So that's another thing with the protection. And so energy and protection is very important. Make sure you have a way to, through solar energy, that you can cook your food. You could boil water and do the essential things. And I will tell you, one of the protective measures that you should have is that learn to start to operate in the dark or in low light situations. Because the people that will be threatening you, they're going to have a flashlight and everything else, and you're going to be able to see them a mile away. So I would definitely suggest that there's so much that goes along with this. It can't be done in one show. But when these lights go out, by the third day, the second day, everybody's going to know that, oh, shoot, there's nothing that they could do. They're going to hit all of the stores, because we've all been taught here in the United States how to loot and how to riot. But then what happens after that is gone, about 7 days later, then you're going to start to have people wandering around trying to find things that they essentially need that they can't get. And it is not going to be a pleasant look. And that's when your overall preparedness is really going to kick in. And that's when you're going to change your overall, oh, shoot, I want the best tool that I possibly can have. Thought it was mighty funny, Lance, that in the Ukraine, they never wanted their citizens to be armed. Right? They never wanted their citizens to be armed. As soon as Russia started to come, they started passing out guns to everybody, grandma, grandpa, and the baby.
See that?
Because they wanted them to fight for them. No. We're not going to protect you. We don't want you to have protection. But when it's time to protect your country, pick up a gun. Come on, man. That's one of the good reasons why there's no army on this planet that would ever try to invade the United States. One, it's hard to do because of the ocean, the barrier of the ocean. You're limited in the approaches that you can come in with effectively. 2, as the Japanese admiral said, there's a gun behind every blade of grass. That's good, but that's real bad from this standpoint. That means that they're going to do something more effective and efficient in nullifying and destabilize the U.S. Cut the lights out. Cut the lights out. She will implode on herself. So that's what you really do need to really be getting prepared for. So that list that's there is a good start. Try to get whatever you can get from that as you possibly can. The essential things is whatever your special needs are, because some people have them, and you have to look at where you live in this country, because you have to, the climate plays a big part of this. If you are on the eastern seaboard or you're on the East Coast, they have harsh, wet winters. You're going to have to prepare for that. You're going to have to environmentally prepare, geographically prepare for where you are. If you're in California, in Southern California, your biggest threat, which they really don't talk about, your biggest threat is that Southern California is nothing more than the Mojave Desert. There's no water. You're going to have to know the essential ways to acquire water. I'm going to tell you guys one thing that you definitely should buy, because water is so important. If you can, what you should do is you need to go to Walmart, and I'm not pushing any company. I'm just saying that you need to acquire this where you pick it up right away. A dehumidifier, and have an energy source that can continue to supply power to that dehumidifier, particularly something that's solar based, because it's a little bit easier, but if you have to use gas, but just find an energy source that can power that dehumidifier. What the dehumidifier will do is that it will take, especially here in Southern California in the desert, there's ways to acquire water. What you would do is that the overall dehumidifier will take the overall moisture out of the atmosphere, run it through, and then now it will have water inside of the dehumidifier in its tank. Okay. Now, most important thing with dehumidified water is this: if you drink that water without purifying it, it's going to get sick. And if we're in a grid down situation, it's probably going to kill you. You have to purify dehumidified water, but at least you have a water source. Okay. Then you can purify it. Now you have potable drinking water. Also, if you have non-potable water, it's not a waste. You can use that, for your personal hygiene other than brushing your teeth. Okay. So all water is useful. Okay. So go get a dehumidifier while you still can. And it's going to be places that they're going to be gone, because people that know already grabbed them, and people are going to start to find out, yo, how am I going to get water? And that is a quick, efficient way while you acquire other sources of water. There's a lot of ways to get water. That's a quick and easy way. But you got to have a power source in case the grid is down for that dehumidifier. 1 second.
No problem, brother.
So I gotta hold my phone because it's losing my battery. So, man, Lance, Empress, this could be so long, and it's so much. The thing is to start where you are. Okay, start where you are. And because we're in this situation, make sacrifices. What do I mean by make sacrifices? If you have some opportunity to sell some of your consumer goods, some of them Jordans that if I'm just using this as an example, if you got some rare and highly sought after Jordans, sell those things now. This is make sacrifices. If you were going to go on vacation somewhere, especially leaving the country, we're having a real geopolitical crisis that's going to possibly turn into World War III. Where is so important that you wanted to go party there? cancel that, get your funds back, and convert those funds into things that you're going to need. You know that, why do we save? You hear the old saying that we save for a rainy day. Yo, we're about to go through a hurricane. We're about to go through a hurricane. Should you have some cash for the initial stages of things? Yes. But if you get the overall necessary items that you don't have to buy, then guess what? Then you have things that you're going to be using, and it's going to be cheaper because you bought it at an entry point that was way lower than what it's going to be tomorrow. Very important. So acquire things within your means. Know what your family needs are. Every person needs about, I'm going to send Lance, and Lance can put it up. I'm going to send Lance a recording that I did for some of my clients a couple of years ago on how they should be acquiring their, and it's just off of food and water. I'll send those to Lance, and he can share that all with you all. They're both about an hour long, and they're great. They work. The only bad thing is that some of the things that we were telling you to get back then is not going to be readily available. Find a substitute for it. You'll be able to do that. So Lance, I will send that to you, and
sure,
to get that out.
All right.
So that's a sec. Sorry about that. So
yeah, no problem.
That's one thing that we really need to do. You'll have that to use. So another part is, you know, with getting people prepared, what we're going to be doing, and I hope that we have time to do it, because it's not something that you can just like go get one thing and you're good to go, because everybody's situation is different and their needs are different. For me, this has been a part of, this isn't just something I talk about, this is what I live. And it's been through continuous training, continuous education, and actually commitment to it. And so I'm just trying to give everyone the basics of right now, from in case things change tomorrow. But the most important thing is you have to realize that, okay, I have to start somewhere. And where you're starting from is perfect. Just start to acquire, just go with the table of preparedness: food, water, shelter, protection, and energy. Think about that and start to build out from there. Energy is the things that are going to give you to keep you warm, to actually help you purify water, to cook your food, and things of that nature. Even when it comes, because everything comes with a do's and a don't. I will tell you, make sure that you look just like everybody in your neighborhood. If everybody in your neighborhood starts to lose weight, don't you go out there with a toothpick and dental floss in your teeth, flossing your teeth, showing everybody you just ate good. No, exactly. You need to look just like everybody else. And also, you're going to have noise and excuse me. You're going to have noise discipline. And most thing that most people don't realize, you're going to have sensory discipline. Smell. Don't be cooking chitlins. Don't be cooking, certain things that, don't be barbecuing where 10 blocks away from you, people that haven't eaten is now smelling that you cooking barbecue. You gonna invite unwarranted attention. So this is where canned foods, try to get the lowest sodium as possible. Pastas are really good. Try to get the high calorie stuff because it's going to be needed, especially in stress. You're going to burn even more calories until you get used to it. The stressful environment. So there's a lot of do's and don'ts that go along with this. Noise discipline, light discipline, sensory discipline. If someone can smell what you're doing, then you're inviting the dogs over to where you live. So, and then, like I said before, you got to protect everything that you have as well. Else, why get it? So I will send that. We'll help you out from there. But one of the things that we're going to do in May the 20th, I'm going to have a seminar for some of my clients. And anyone that's here that's listening to Lance's show, I consider you a client because of my relationship with Lance. With us, in order to be a client, another client has to refer you. So we're going to have a private seminar here in Dallas, Texas, May the 20th to the 22nd. It's $650. And then we'll get you a discount on your room. The hotel will be great. I'm gonna bring Lance in for that. There is going to be more about the precious metals, where we are. I have a series called The Reason for the Ark, the reason why you should, building an ark for yourself and your family will be the topic of discussion. And then also I'm going to give a very lucrative business opportunity to all of my clients. They don't have to pay a dime for this, but this overall product is actually can gain someone residual incomes in the millions because we have a product that is just groundbreaking. And I'm gonna show you the product real quick. It's this right here. This is called a blocker, and what it is, you wear it on a lanyard. What it is comes in a sealed package. And what this is that it's a sealed package. And when it's in a sealed form, it lasts for 2 years. Once it's opened it up, it's 30 days. Now, what does it do once it's open? This has actually been opened. What this does is that it creates a 3 feet barrier around you that kills all airborne viruses and pathogens in a controlled environment. So you can have to be somewhere where the wind isn't blowing back and forth. This is our product that we have exclusive distribution rights for in Africa, in all 54 countries in Africa and in Europe. I don't have the distribution deal for the US, but if you have this or a connection to someone at a major corporation or a university or something like that, then you can, and they were going to buy a specific number of units, then we could do that deal. And how this works is this: you never have to pay anything to be able to sell this. You can't sell this on, you can't market this on social media. You can't open up a store and start selling these. Each one of these cost about the numbers on it is about about $8 to create, $9 to make. And they're actually made out of Japan. There was over 10 years of clinical research with this. It just got its EPA. Well, first it got the EPA approval in Japan, which is way harder than the EPA here in the United States. It just got FDA and EPA approval here in the United States. And they said that they upgraded it to say that it's antimicrobial. All of that information will be given to those of you that would like to, our clients that will be there, would like to be a part of that. All of that information will be given to you so that you can, sell it abroad. Lance is in Ghana. This is a perfect thing for Ghana. I will tell you, the major institutions here in the United States want to use this because this can be used personally. This is a personal one, but there's also ones for your home, for a classroom, for a business. It can be set, the sizes is big, and it can also set to your ventilation system. So what is that going to do? That's going to kill any airborne viruses, pathogens, and it's antimicrobial. Now, if you touch something that has a virus on it, it's not going to kill it from it being, touching it. Okay. So it's just the overall airborne ones. Okay. Which is, so if you're on a plane, I don't get on a plane without this. Got 3 feet of a barrier around me. There is no other product in the world like this. It's patented. The actual The attorney that's actually writing our deals on this is actually the attorney that wrote NAFTA. So this is big, big, well-versed people that actually write overall. They write opinions for Supreme Court justices. So pretty significant stuff. We have exclusive right to it. And the good thing about the clinical trials is there. So now you can actually be a distributor of that. And how that works is this. You never have to worry about someone backdooring you or taking your overall sale or stealing your sale, because when you come on board with us, if you say, hey, I'm working this deal with this company or these, that you're locked in that for just you. And so what happens is this, they have to buy this and then they could white label this. Let's say you sell this to another university in the United States. That university can white label this, put their label on this, and they can sell it at their store, their school store. They can do that. Okay, so that's huge. So there are different institutions that are very, very interested in this. That they're already there now. So when they buy this, they have to buy this in lots. It's depending on who it is. It could be, one sale could be a lot of 2 million. So here's the thing about it. This only lasts for 30 days. So what are they going to have to do 30 days later? Buy it again. And when they buy, every time that they buy it, if that's your sale, then if that's your client, they're going to sign a contract, and that contract is going to have you getting paid residual off of everything they buy from then on, forever. So, and this doesn't cost you anything. We've already fronted all of the costs. This is what we're going to be giving to our clients in May here in Dallas. So you'll be able to have access to it. And that would be something that can actually give you another stream of revenue to help you in everything else. I just definitely hope that we're going to be in the situation that we'll be able to do this in May. Because I'll tell you this, regardless of how fast this war expands, the overall US dollar is done now. It is going to meet is going to fail all of the challenges that are facing it. And the biggest challenge that is really facing right now is this. The debt, the national debt is over $30 trillion. $30 trillion. Let me break that down for you, what $30 trillion means. About 100 days ago, back in October, the national debt was about $28 trillion. So from October to where we are now, March the 1st, they created roughly about $1.5 trillion in debt. The US government put out $1.5 trillion in debt, or they created that. Okay, what does that mean? It means this. It took the United States 209 years just to get to $1.5 trillion in debt. They didn't get to $1.5 trillion in debt until Reagan in 1984-85 was president of the United States. Now they're creating 209 years of debt creation in just 100 days. Do you think the next 100 days that's going to go faster or go slower? They're going to create more or less? They're going to create more. And what does that do? How does that harm you? That means the purchasing power of your dollar is being pulled away. It's unsustainable. Other countries are going to have to turn away from it, because let me ask you something. If you have the greatest debt and you can't pay it back, is mathematically you can't pay it. Are you going to send your valuable oil to that country and let them pay you in a piece of paper that has no value at all? No. You're going to say we don't accept that because you created too much of it. The purchasing power of it's been lost. These countries They know it. The purchasing power of that is lost. We're not going to sell our oil to you for that. We're not going to sell you our goods and services for that. The United States it doesn't produce anything anymore. So it has to get itself from abroad. And they're not going to be able to pay for the shipping. They're not going to be able to pay for the overall asset because their currency is going to be dropping. And if what I think is going to happen with Putin's plan, that's just going to speed it up even more. And that's going to be all the reason why all of these nations is going to turn on the U.S. because they've been stealing from them for years through their military and through their currency. Connolly, the former Secretary of Treasury, John Connolly, who just not too far from here, downtown Dallas, got shot in a car when him and Kennedy got shot together in the car. He became the Secretary of Treasury. He went on Nixon sent him to Europe. And you know what he told the Europeans at a financial meeting? He said, the dollar is our currency and your problem. What did it basically say? He said, we have it and it's causing you to go into debt. That's not our problem, that's yours. You think those countries really forgot that? Nope. They just weren't in a position to defend themselves. Why did Connolly say that to him? Because he arrogantly had the overall backing of the U.S. military. Can't do it anymore. You're not scared of it anymore. So very important that we get ourselves in position. For our seminar, you definitely can email me at info@Prosperity Mint. And then once we have the venue and everything else, we'll send that to you. If you're interested in coming to that event and being a part of this program, Lance is already in Ghana. And so we're definitely in all 54 countries in Ghana. Everyone that sees this and sees what this capability is, with this, you got 3 feet. Regardless of COVID, regardless of the environment going away, the necessity of this is still going to be there. Remember, in wartime situations, viruses and diseases become rampant. Communicable diseases become rampant because the standard of living drops so much. And so this product is, we've done all of the research and we've paid everything that we need to pay. Now it's a matter of getting it out, and it's all exclusive deals. Once that's your deal, you will be getting paid on that for the rest of every time that whoever bought it from you before. Every time that they purchase, you will be paid in that, and it's all contracted with the same attorney that wrote NAFTA for the U.S. So. Solid situation there. If you'd like to be a part of that, because of our relationship with you guys through Lance, you definitely could be a part of that. And then our seminar, the thing about our seminar is that we teach you how to acquire the precious metals correctly. There's a right way and a wrong way, right? There's a right way and a wrong way. We teach you how to get interest off of your precious metals and which one you should be acquiring for the best profitability. Okay, so we do all that. We sell everything, but what we do is that we strategically teach you how to use it properly. And once you get that information, you'll see it. You'll be amazed by it. Say, okay, I knew something was wrong here. So we do that. So, but that's, it's so much. But I wanted to really just get that out to everyone. I definitely anticipate that. Wait until what Russia's just taking it right now in mainstream media, and wait until they respond. Wait until they strategically respond. They talk about they have a column of military vehicles that's 40 miles long. There's no military in this world that would do something like that. Put all of their a column 40 miles long, their vulnerability there, The only reason why they do that is because this whole thing is rigged. This whole thing is rigged. There's nobody that's going to challenge or attack that overall column, which it should be. They're not going to do it. You know why? Because the Ukraine's not the target. Ukraine is not the target. The target is going to be breaking NATO and nullifying the overall dollar hegemony and the overall military capability of the United States. One thing is, from Putin's plan, when they win the war, you know what happens to the US military? It seeks to exist in the form and fashion that it's in now. They lose all of their military bases. They lose all of their military bases outside of the United States, and they become a defensive military only. They can no longer have offensive weapons. This is going to be interesting. So, but I just want you all prepared. Lance, Empress, I don't know, so much that we could say and go into. I don't know, was there something that you guys needed specifically or wanted?
She'll probably be back on. She fell off. That's why the screen got like kind of uncentered. But I just want to add on to what you're saying, and I kind of want to ask you, what is the psychological? I kind of know the answer, but the psychological reason Putin has done this. You know, I follow boxing really heavy, and the information just came out that Vladimir Putin put a hit out on former heavyweight champions Vladimir Klitschko. There's a hit out on them now. You see? So that's for the bravado and the public, you know, the psychological thing. The two of the strongest men from Ukraine who are heavyweight champions, their brothers and everything, they have a unit. I forgot what the name was. You might know it, from Russia, that they're looking to hit them. They're on a hit list to be killed straight up.
That's the Russian Spetsnaz.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yes. And I guess that's just to break the spirit. It's just like with slavery and buck breaking. They take the strongest one and do away with them. You know? They're going all out with this thing to do something like that. Yeah.
Well, you know what, Lance, I'm glad you brought that up. Because if the Ukraine was really Russia's target, you know what they would have did? Remember when the U.S. took out Soleimani with a drone?
Right.
That's what they would have done. That was definitely there for them to do. The reason why they put out a hit on the Klitschko brothers is because the U.S. has been trying to get them to take over the Ukraine when they had the coup. Victoria, I remember her name. They actually caught her saying this in a conference call with the ambassador to the Ukraine when she was the ambassador to the UN ambassador, the U.S. ambassador.
Right.
Newland. This is Newland's war. And what she did, she knew that they were supporting Nazis. She was well aware of all of that. And the U.S. was implemented, and they were bragging about who that they were going to put into power there. And it's public record. You could hear it and see it for themselves. So why did Putin do Klitschko's? Because they're ripe because they were a part of this whole agenda. If you start to see now, you start to see how, look at how the Ukrainians really do treat Black people.
See,
you look at what's going. We told you this a while ago. They're Nazis. Not all of them, but the overall, they have a strong Nazi representation within their government. That's why Putin said we're going to demilitarize, because the president of Ukraine made the fatal mistake and said, hey, we're going to try to get nuclear weapons now. oh, that was it. He's going. That was it. We going in. So the Klitschko brothers have been targeted because they've been a part of that whole thing. They've been a part of that whole thing. And I will tell you this, last people you want looking for you is Spetsnaz.
Oh, wow.
Last people on this planet you want looking for you is Spetsnaz. So it's a whole lot more to this than what meets the eye. But yeah, that's, you know, I wouldn't be surprised. But remember, the U.S., you remember when they killed Soleimani, where was the overall outrage of the global community for the U.S.? And you know what that really was? Some people said, well, you know, he was a general. Yeah, they killed the admiral of Japan in World War II. That's because they were in a war. That was during war. But when they killed Soleimani, that was an act of war. Once you start doing assassination by drones, now you open yourself up to be assassinated by drones. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. So that's just the, you know, that's just really the playing field of where we are. And there's so much more to this. I don't have a dog in this fight myself. My overall fight is with us. But I know the lying dogs are all over the place. Both sides do lie, and then they're not in our best interest. But I know one side has a real historical culture, and that culture is against my tribe. So yeah, definitely I'm not surprised. It's actually probably every one of the if you look at where they're going after, they're like they said, they're going to demilitarize and denazify. So if the Klitschko's is on that, I'm looking at it. Or the Klitschko's, one is the mayor of one of the largest cities there, one of the brothers. So he ain't in the military. Oh, he's probably
oh, they're fighting now. They're suited up and fighting, and I think really because there's such a strong presence there, because of the fame and their accomplishments in the sporting world, and they're looked up to. Yeah, they have to. Even Vasily Lomachenko, the light, who was a former champion, he's suited up, and I don't think Alexander Usyk is really in there, but they were trying to throw off on him, saying that, you know, he was in Germany at the time that this jumped off, and many of the Ukrainian people were saying, well, look at you, you ran away. No, he was already there for a promotion, for a fight, or doing something with this one upcoming fight, but he did come back. So, you know, they're throwing a lot of weight on a lot of the sportsmen, and especially guys who are these alpha males who are champions in boxing, because it means, you know, if you're good with your hands, it may not mean that you're good with the weaponry and all that stuff, but you're doing strong.
No, two different worlds. But I know the reason why they're targeting the Klitschko brothers is because they became politicized. They actually they're actually in the politics that they're fighting there. So I'll tell you my overall estimation. I look at the Klitschko brothers. Are they in the military? No. So why would they chart? Oh, they may be part, and I'm not quite sure, but they probably are tied to that Nazi sector that they want to get rid of. But remember what Putin said: demilitarize and denazify. And so that is, in my estimation, that's probably why they put them on the hit, just like they have the president. They say that the president is on a hit list. Come on, man, you in war. All of the heads of states is targets. This, if you know, when they invaded Saddam Hussein and they had the daggone, what did the U.S. do? They had cards, right? Like it's a game. You know, Saddam was the ace of spades. And then Houday and his brother were, you know, the other aces. And so they wanted them dead or alive. We see that and we're like, oh yeah, this is war. No big deal. But it's the same thing here. You know, they're right targets because this is a military conflict. So yeah, but that's because of their, like those other ones, those other fighters, I don't think that they would look to assassinate them or anything, or if they captured them, they would probably let them go. But the brothers, no, they're gonna send them back to Russia for trial.
Mm-hmm.
They'll send them back to Russia for trial. So, yeah, it's funny how, you know, it's really crazy how things are unfolding. Everybody's comfortable here in the United States right now.
Yeah.
But wait until they respond, and everybody's gonna be like, oh shoot. And then there's going to be a propaganda machine that's saying, hey, they did this to us. We need to draft your daughters for this war against Russia. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Before you even think about trying to take my daughter for your war, no, you crossed the line with me. And now, no. You don't like Putin? Well, you get your ass over there and fight with Putin. You get over there and do that. You join the military. You lead the way. Go ahead. Go ahead. We'll benefit from your heroic sacrifices for us. Are we crazy?
You know what's funny? I see a lot of young women who are in the army. They're having breakdowns right now. They're literally having mental breakdowns because they weren't expecting to find themselves where they are. Especially some of the young ones who took that that incentive, that sign up bonus, you know, because you have a lot of people who are financially, you know, not there. And so they entice them with this 30, you know, whether it's $20,000 or $30,000 sign-in bonus. And a lot of these young people take it, you know, thinking, okay, I can do my 3 or 4 years and get out, and, you know, mommy has some money, or, you know, whatever. Now this thing is on our doorstep and they're looking at being deployed and they're having breakdowns. I'm literally seeing it every day. You're seeing 1, 2, 3 different, you know, situations where these women are crying.
Empress, I'm so glad you said that, because when I joined the military, it wasn't because I was loyal to the United States. It's because coming out of Jersey, I was hungry.
Right.
You know, and it was no war that was being fought. Right. Oh, believe me, if there was a war at that time, oh no, wait, hold on. I don't know them. I don't have a problem with them. You don't like them. You need to go.
Right.
And the thing about these young ladies are breaking down because now that they're in the military, they know what this really means. They know what they're really going to be up against. I saw when Russia took about 30 Ukrainian soldiers prisoners, and some of them were female. Some of them were young ladies. Could you imagine some of the things that happens to war prisoners? You having women being subject to that? There is a because of man we have wars. Right? I'm just saying, I don't think that women should be asked, or women are built for that type of engagement. You know, and if you want to nullify your community, send your women to war. And guess what's going to happen? They're going to become the woman is the earth. You're going to toxify your earth so it can't produce a seed.
Right.
Now, a land without men is conquered. A land without women is barren. You're going to cease to exist. You're going to go extinct.
Interesting.
You're going to go extinct. I know that. Just give this example. In the military, and in high stressful situations, because of the high stress, the body is so wise and so smart that the body says that the stressful situation that you're in is not conducive to bearing children, and a woman's cycle will stop.
Exactly.
What you think is going to happen in a war? What do you think is going to happen in a war? And in today's world, when our community needs more of our children, more offspring, because we've been under this daggone Margaret Singer Planned Parenthood program, that we've lost more than what we need.
But you have a lot of women who will, you have those that are thinking logically that will agree with you, and then you have scores of women who will disagree with you because they want to feel that they're on par with men, and whatever, if a man can do it, I can do it. You know what I mean? I listen, I don't agree with it. But especially going to war, especially, going to war. I mean, it's one thing if you're there in an administrative capacity or, as nurses or whatever, but to say that you're going to go into combat and you're good with that, personally, I'm not good with that.
To each his own. For individuals that want to do that, hey, they want to, that's cool. Hey, you made that, that's what floats your boat. That's cool. But I will tell you this, don't try that shit with my daughter.
My daughter was going to do that. She was going to go, and I said, hell to the no. And I couldn't stop her, but she wisened up real fast.
It's everybody's choice. But my thing is that we got to look at this. A land without man means you're conquered. Your land is conquered. Somebody's going to come conquer you. A land without women is barren. You're going to go extinct. The body does that. Everybody's wired differently. Some people that doesn't affect them, but that doesn't mean just because some can, everybody else will.
That's right.
And I don't think it's worth it. I don't believe that we build a prosperous nation with women in our overall what we're protecting and what we're building. We should be protecting that fertile ground. You don't throw fertile soil to the mud. Not wise. Your seeds aren't going to grow. It's no different. It's no different here. You got to protect that. So for those that want to do it, hey, I understand they got a space for you. And one of the things that I know, because I was in the military, it all sounds good when you're sitting back in the States. But when you get over there, you realize something. Oh, I made the biggest mistake. I made the biggest mistake. And sometimes you can't turn that back.
But they say war is hell.
Yeah, it's not a pleasant thing. So we, those are the things that we're going to be dealing with. Here, we're going to be dealing with, and I can't emphasize this enough. The United States has never been chin-checked.
Yeah.
It's never been punched in the face. And the thing about it is that there are countries that have been punched in the face over and over again. There's a hardship that type of environment develops in you. And there's never been, that over here. We got first world problems, but we're about to have a third world situation. How's that going to work?
We're not prepared.
Mentally. Nope. And we don't have the overall. Lance, when it comes to becoming a fighter, training is real training is this. You can't just train where you spar and you don't get hit, right? You can't just train with a bag. You got to get in a spar. You got to get a spar partner, right?
Bag doesn't hit
Because you
back.
just train with a bag, I'll tell you this, you're going to whoop that bag's butt.
Yep.
But wait until you get in front of someone that is not a punching bag and is going to punch back. You're going to start to reevaluate the decision that you made to walk into that ring.
That's right. Yeah, because they have the intention of taking your head off, and they're not going to stand. They're not going to mirror you. They're not going to give you any leeway. So it is beyond the bag. It's the will. You see,
it's
so
the will.
You can go into basic training, and it could be a little challenging and stuff like that. But when you see your comrades' heads blown off, legs blown off, and you're out there, and it's nothing but smoke, and your eyes are burning. And I've never been in that, so I'm just talking it from what I hear. Right? And people that you've grown close to, you know, Mr. Skur's son has been in the Iraq war out there. He's been out there for 10 years. He's been back for the last decade or so. And he came back not well. But he told me a lot of things that he had to see out there on an emotional level. And I had brought up one of the examples in one of the shows that I did when, say, for example, you get close with someone, no matter what their race is, all that melts away, you know, and you're in those together and you start to talk about your hopes and your dreams and your aspirations, and that person doesn't make it back, but you.
Lance?
And
you blacked out. You blacked out.
Yeah, no, I saw it. We're back.
Okay.
Yeah, so you become family with that person. And when that mother sees you, you may not be her son, but because you were close to her son, you've become a member of the family. And when she sees you, she hugs you just as tight and cries because she's glad to see you, because she heard so much about you from her son. You see what I mean? So it brings you to a place of connectedness never before. And a lot of the older guys who've been through older wars, and they talk about it. And it's a different part of their personality that comes out after going through that experience. All the petty stuff and frivolous stuff that we have and hold on to in the society becomes null and void. You know, and I try to learn from those guys. I've never been in that situation, but it has toughened me a tad more. Not that I've been through their experience, but it helped me to see things a different way when it comes down to it. You know what I mean? Your spirit. And just like you said with the training, it's training to have muscle memory to know what to do when you're in a situation. But when you get in the situation, now we're going to test your spirit because it's life and death now. You see?
Right. Yeah. And I don't have to be there to experience, to know that this is a mistake. No, there is no reason for us to be there. So, especially in our community, because, you know, I will tell you, we don't, and I'm gonna have to end out here.
Yeah.
We don't need, what we need to do, we don't need soldiers to do it. Because a soldier can never do what a warrior thinks. We need warriors. Because a soldier only takes orders. A warrior maintains sovereignty. A soldier takes orders. We don't need someone that takes orders. We need someone that thinks about how we maintain our sovereignty. That's a warrior. So it's really here now, playing itself out. Let's seize on the opportunities, acquire the precious metals, acquire the things that you need. They're going to do you so much good and give you so many options and opportunities that you're going to be just like some of the other. Look at how many new millionaires and billionaires and trillionaires are made during wartime situations, the ones that are prepared for it.
Right.
One thing about war and these major geopolitical events, they're few and far between at these magnitudes. But it's never luck that someone becomes wealthy in this situation. It's because they already knew, and prepared for that. There's no lottery in this one. It's just a shovel and a hammer. Pick it up and use it.
Wow.
So
I'm definitely giving you a call.
Oh, the Empress, please, definitely do. Lance, definitely pass my number to her, to Empress, please.
Yes, most
my
definitely.
Direct number.
Yeah.
And Empress, definitely text me so I know that it's you.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely.
I will call you back immediately. So I will send Lance those videos. Start preparing now. I tell you, it will benefit you later. You will be so happy that you have.
Right.
And then it will take care of itself.
And you know, like we were talking about this morning, because you know, people can become fearful, and that's one of the things that you want to take out of the equation.
Yeah.
You know, it's fear.
Yeah.
So in all of what you're saying, you're not saying it so that people can start getting these anxiety and panic attacks. It's, you know, it's do what you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Definitely. No, don't need to. It's really about you, because I'd rather you realize that, okay, focus on what you can do. So that there's two different personalities. Let's say all of a sudden you're in an earthquake, and one person just panics and just stays there, while the other person is motivated from the earthquake to do something, motivated to action, to do something. That's where we always want to be, is, okay, now let me have a beneficial response to the situation that I'm in. I will tell you this: wishing, hoping, and praying that this doesn't happen, that these things never touch you, is not a good plan of response. Because you got to remember something. If the great creator can't go against your will, how can the great creator go against someone's will that has a malevolent agenda? If the great creator can't make you do something, then what makes you think that you're going to be able to make somebody do something? You can't. If they have the will, and there's people with the will, they're willing this situation. We just got to have more energy that conquers that will, and now it suppresses it, and it doesn't bring it to fruition because your energy is greater. So respond to it appropriately. Is it going to be challenging situations? Absolutely. Is it going to be dangerous situations? Yes. Dangerous situations are going to be there. But us being fearful of them doesn't change the danger in the situation. It only heightens it.
Indeed.
Yep.
So, are you coming back with you know?
Yeah. We'll come. I'm gonna send that. I'm gonna send back. I'm gonna keep us up to date on what's going on. Until we can't do it. Okay. You know, and that's real talk. I'm gonna do it until the cyber attack it happens and everything else. And the first thing I'm gonna get rid of when that does happen is I'm taking my phone to a bucket of water and dropping it in there, because now it's game on. That's
an interesting statement.
I'm gonna take my phone to a bucket of water and dropping my phone in that overall bucket of water. I won't need that thing anymore now.
There you go.
So, and it's not going to be a device that I can be tracked on.
There you go.
There you go.
So that was the real reason.
Communication.
That was
that's right. And getting out of that comfort zone, like what people have when they get snapped out of it. They just, you know, like I said, for years they called people like us quacks and all of this stuff like that, but it's becoming real. And really, it's about the preparedness. And if they'd listened from years before, they'd be in a better place. So you don't have to convince anybody of fear. They're going to feel it from their lack of action before. And I don't wish that on them, because that'll paralyze them. So let's get out there and get the blood flowing, be ready to run, jump, whatever we can do, eat less, you know, keep your mind right, and have a time where you cut off from all of this stuff and get away. I'm actually, after 21 years being online with so much stuff, I love it, but I'm preparing myself for a time when it's just not there. And they ain't tracking me either. So, you know, I just want to thank you, Brother Dave. And
for sure, my brother. Thank you, Empress.
Thank you, sir. Very nice talking to you. Very, very nice indeed. Yes.
And we got more to do. We got more to do, and we'll break down, and we'll be more pointed on certain things. But it's just so much in preparing.
Yeah.
Lance is already. We've given some other shows do that, but I will send that to you. Start taking an interest in this. Don't just take it from me, Brother Dave, because do it from other standpoints, because I don't know it all. And you know, I know what works for me. And I know what resonates with me. What resonates with me doesn't resonate with everybody else. And I'm cool with that. It's not really a concern of mine, because I don't even check to see, does this resonate with anybody? Because I'm too busy rowing the boat. I ain't got time to rock it.
Well, there you go. And we tell everybody here, take what take what resonates with you, and whatever don't, leave it alone. You know what I mean?
Leave it alone. Yep.
Indeed, and I, to be perfectly honest with you, with everything that you've said, I can't see how everything that you've told us tonight and on Sunday and in your previous shows can't resonate with the folks that come to our platform.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
It's really a situation with this. Even if it does, that's okay.
Lance just fell off.
we do what we do for those that it was going to be beneficial for.
Right.
That's what it's for. We're there to help those that this could be beneficial for.
You know what, Dave? They're not seeing you so well because Lance fell off, and it messed with the
That's okay.
It messed with the way things are, and I'm not good at messing with these things.
No, we're good. So we're gonna end it out here. So
He should be back. If you want to talk for a few more minutes, I think he should be coming back in any minute. If you just want to hang for 5 more minutes, can you hang for 5 more minutes?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we'll just hang for 5 more minutes and let's see. Hopefully, it's it's just his computer overheating or something like that, or whatever. But see what I told you? There he is.
Yes, I'm back. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
Time of night, it seems to kind of end up that way. So
right. Okay. Yeah. I didn't know how to readjust the screen, so it's out of sync. It's out of kilter.
That's not a problem.
Okay.
So, Brother Davis there, or did...
Okay.
No, he's still here. I had asked him to hang for a few minutes until you come back.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're good.
So Lance, we'll pick up. Yeah, Lance, we'll pick up, and I will send that to you, and then I'll put some current event stuff that's happening. I'll send it to you what's happening if you wanted to post it. However, just to inform people, that'd be cool.
Yeah. And what I want to tell everybody to do, if they go to landscurve.com and they look down on the right side, they scroll down to where you have the favorite categories. If you click on the Brother Dave category, you'll see 10 and probably now 11 videos that we did before. So if this, and you're new and this is what is your appetite and you want to hear the shows we did before, click on that. Go to landscurve.com on the home page or any page, scroll down, look on the right side for the categories, and it's under Brother Dave. Click on that. It will bring you to another page that has all the shows that we've ever done. And you can pick out on those shows and just cram it and have fun. And you'll see all that what we've been doing before tonight.
Yo, Lance, there was one. Yes. Remember the one we did with Byron Allen?
Yeah. That's on there.
Yeah. That was one. Boy, I caught so much flack from that. All I could do was laugh. All I could do was laugh because but yeah, that's one of my favorite ones. But hey, Lance, let's catch up a little bit later. You need to get some sleep, Empress.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes.
Okay. All right, y'all. We'll talk later.
I'll be calling you definitely.
Okay.
Thank you so much. All righty.
All right.
Okay. Peace.
I'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay. Yes, everybody. We conclude another wonderful, powerful episode, and like I said, we're going to keep on doing these and tentatively have Mr. Political coming on Friday. We have Brother Blue Star coming on Friday.
Ooh.
Many of you don't know Blue Star, but from many years ago, we did some shows. We didn't lose contact. We've just been so busy, and I've been relocating. And you can kind of go through the site and search in the search bar on landscurve.com and listen to some of the older shows that we did. But right now, this man is very prophetic, but he's not a quack. He's a person who will break things down to you, and he is very fascinating. You see, we have brothers like Brother Dave and others who may come on, but they're fascinating in their own way.
Yeah.
Brother Blue Star is a special person indeed. We were supposed to go on last Friday, but something came up at his workplace and he couldn't do it. So hopefully this Friday we can do it. And I'm going to talk to him, and I'm trying to line up different shows and different things. We got Elizabeth Biddy. I spoke to her. She's coming back.
Oh,
And like I
lovely.
said, the bottom line is that we're going to get the information out there. And at this particular point, while we're setting everything up with the site and everything, like I said, for me, it's just to utilize the platform to get stuff out there, because really and truly, I'm ready to go back to the pen and pencil and paper days. I don't see the internet really and truly lasting past this year on the same level. Maybe not. I'd love to if it did, but you got to prepare yourself for certain things. And, you know, with the smartphones and the internet and GPS and all these things that are going to be, they're looking to do the cyber attack thing. You heard it from Brother Dave, very convincing. And what else they do? Of course, they may do other things, but just prepare to live a completely different life. And it's not bad. We'll get reattached to our families. We'll have more of a social life. We'll vibe more. And what's more important, we're so cold to each other. We don't really vibe with each other anymore. So, you know, we need that to live. We'll find life in the death of life as it's been, because this life as it's been has not really been life. It's been where we're walking toward death. We don't get the satisfaction out of the days that we used to have. Used to be when we were kids, we used to, you know, go out in the front stoop and sit around, and even if we were kind of broke and just had enough for ice cream money, we were happy. We were just
That's
glad to
true.
see each other.
That's
We
true.
saturate ourselves with all these material goods, and we gouge on that. We gouge on the sex. We gouge on this. We're walking around with so many different types of voids,
Right.
and we think that dousing ourselves with more stuff and more experiences on a carnal level is going to satisfy us, but it's not. It may feel good in a fleeting moment, but then after that, you feel even more emptier.
Get
And
back the
that's
personal connection.
so for me, I just want to wake up and, you know, look over the mountains and get some good food in me, good conversation. And I'm not saying live out my life like I'm just going to just do nothing, but it's going to be different. And this is what I've been talking about for many, many years. And you know, I'm here to inspire everybody. And it's not too late. You just have to have more of a sense of urgency, because things have changed drastically. But it's 3:17 over here, and
Yes,
I'm
I
going to
know.
climb in. I got to get up in the morning and go and retrieve some very important papers, and we'll come back tomorrow with some shows and some snippets and different things. And I'm very excited about. You know, I'm very, maybe I'm weird, but I'm very happy. I don't want death for anybody, but I'm just happy that we're going to go into a great reset, because this is not our fight. We just have to be careful on what's in our proximity and bringing ourselves to a safer place. But their world is crumbling, and they're going to be casualties. But their world is crumbling. The world that has oppressed us and the system that has oppressed us is crumbling, and it's happening right now. So when I rejoice in that, I'm not rejoicing in any one of our brothers and sisters leaving out of here. But I mean, it's very sad that if you've gone into the military and now they may deploy you for different things, that's a choice a person had to make. But the overall system, even if it takes me, I'm still going to rejoice in the fact that my children and your children or whatever, if they survive, but somebody's children who looks like us is going to
Somebody will
survive
survive.
and go on,
Exactly.
it'll be a whole lot easier, because this system is really rough. And like I said, that's why I got out of it. You know what I mean? But even we don't know how things are going to go. But the main thing was we're everywhere and we will survive. And on that note, Empress Ella G, I'm going to say good night to you.
Good night,
thanks
sir.
everybody for being here. I'm
Yes,
not on the
indeed.
computer, so we're just going to hit that button. It's going to cut off, and we'll bring the music back tomorrow. But this time of night, my internet always blinks, so I kind of expected that.
Right.
All right, everybody.
Okay,
So
righty.
take care.
Take care.
Download the app Landscurve, Google Play Store, Apple Store, Amazon, and hit landscurve.com. Go to the category Brother Dave and listen to the videos, because he said it. Things that he said back then, you're gonna bug out because you say, man, he predicted this. But it's not just a prediction, a roll of the dice. He knows what he's talking about, and when he speaks, we have to listen. But night, everybody.
And go get the new shirt that Lance just put up on the T-shirt site. Maybe you should drop that link again. Oh, you can't because your computer crapped out.
Yeah, well, you can go to lancescurve.com and hit the T-shirt link that's on the right-hand side too. It'll bring you right there. See, I took care of that already. Everything's gonna be automatic. All right, everybody.
Indeed. Take care.
You have a good night. All right.
Bye-bye.
Peace. All right, bye-bye.